Hello, everyone. So the rumor is we're live.
Yep. Hi. How's it
Um,
going?
it is so good. So I'm just doing a quick little. I'm figuring this out. Watch live. Do it. Oh,
Yeah.
oh! I could hear me. I don't want to hear me. All right.
Tech wizards at work.
That's right. Um.
Uh,
All right. So, hi everyone. I'm Donnielle. In case you haven't figured that out. This is my friend Heather Smith. Hello, Heather.
Hello. Hi.
Hi. And I thought this would be fun to just chat because
Yeah,
we are having, oh, hello, V. Ah. Um, you are hosting me
I am.
for a Right Body for You in California. Now, before everybody's like, oh my gosh, this is a promotion. No, this isn't. Actually, it's two friends recollecting. It's really kind of fun. So you're hosting me in California for a Right Body for You, and you've never actually hosted me before.
Nope.
However, we have been friends for 13, almost 14 years at this point.
Yeah, at least. I think that's something like that.
Yeah,
Something around there.
I know,
Yes.
and it blows my mind. It's so much
Oh
fun
no. Yeah.
because you're hosting me in Corte Madera, which for those of you who don't know, a lot of the very first access classes as they were getting bigger and not in people's living rooms and things like that. I'm sure a
Yeah.
lot of people have heard those stories about access consciousness. We're at the Best Western in Corte Madera, California.
Yes, we're going to be in the very room where we met, where
Where
you and
we
I
met.
met,
Yeah.
and that long, long history of Gary and Dane classes.
Oh my gosh, I know. Because my very first COP, which is now which was sorry, it's a COP now. Then it was a
Yeah,
level 2 and 3, and you outside of Susie and Dane were really the first access people I met. And it was
yeah.
so funny because this we had a mutual friend. He's long gone, but he is like, you need to meet Heather. And you turned around, I'm like, yes, I do. That was my reaction, like, yes, I do.
Oh my God, and it's been a love affair ever since.
It has been a love affair ever since. And so I am so, so, so excited to be facilitating in this room. There's a couple of things about this. Like, first, facilitating this room where Gary and Dade did some of the initial larger group classes. It was like,
Yeah,
I think my first 2, 3 COP had like 50 people in it, which
yeah,
was like a big class.
it was. Yeah, it was really growing.
It was really growing. And I mean, and it's so fun now because you and I have both worked with Access on and off over the years, and we still do. And
Yeah,
and now to see classes with thousands of people and watch Gary and
so
Dane
cool.
do Facebook Lives with literally, and as Dane likes to say, yes, I know what literally means,
Me
literally
too.
thousands of people.
Yeah,
And it's
so
so
cool.
amazing to see the growth. And
It
so for me,
is.
it's really fun to facilitate in this where I first learned the tools.
Yeah.
And then even more of an honor for me is I just facilitated in August, just the other day, but in August, the Right Body for You certified facilitator training. So other people, it's a certified facilitator training, so other people can be a Right Body for You facilitator. And the very first Right Body for You certified facilitator training was at this Corte Madera hotel in 2009.
Wow.
And I, I remember sitting there excited about learning this Right Body for You stuff, never imagining 13 years later I would have co-facilitated 3 times with Gary, once with Dane, and teaching and doing the Right Body Free Certified Facilitator training for other people. I'm like,
No
"What?
way.
No way."
Right? I know it's such an evolution and such an adventure that it's been to watch it all unfold and see the
Yeah.
as both of us have changed and grown and played with these tools for so long and just yeah, watching it all going from, 3 countries I think it was in at the
Yeah,
beginning that when
Italy,
I
Australia, US.
yeah, that was it. And yeah, and like, 7 or 8 of us on staff around the world, and that was it.
That was
Oh
it.
my
I
god.
know. I remember one of my most perverse glees is when somebody says, "Well, how do I find this out about whatever in Access?" And I'm like, "I don't know. Ask customer
Yeah,
service."
yeah,
Because
I used to be customer service.
right,
I
right?
was the whole customer service.
And we knew everything at that point.
Yeah,
It was like, "Oh, yeah, I know this, I know this."
yeah.
Well, because there was only, like, 5 things to know.
Yeah. And we knew everybody involved with every single part very intimately.
Very, very well, yeah.
Oh
And,
my god. Yeah, that is a great happiness for me too of like, "Oh my gosh, I actually have no idea."
I know, right? And it's so
Um,
fun, like, you and I were just chatting the other day, as we do,
yes.
and I think we
Yeah.
counted, and between the 2 of us, we've started, like, 12 departments in this business, in Access Consciousness as
Yes.
well.
Yes. Surprise.
So so,
Yeah.
and so yeah, uh, just to I want you to say what you're gonna say, but just to clarify, you guys, and so it's like, that's why I titled this, "Does Your Body Remember?" Is
Yeah.
because as you and I are recollecting, it's like my body is so excited. My body is remembering this, the sights, the sounds, the
Totally.
look of the pool past Gary, sitting there, and then just the
Yeah.
smell of the trees nearby and the sitting outside on the break,
Oh
near
my
the
gosh.
pool, and then just even the texture of the fake grass on
Yeah.
on the little play courts and everything they have
Right.
there. And I remember walking into the
Totally.
attached restaurant and going, "Buffet?" You
Yeah.
know, and so I remember my body remembers those smells and those tastes, and it's
Wow.
time isn't
Yeah.
real, so it's, like, right here.
It is, it so is. Well, and all of the amazing conversations that occurred in that room
Yeah,
and just watching people, drop their limitations and relax
yeah.
into themselves and, the hundreds of sessions Dane did in the back of the room during class,
I
so
when they
incredible.
did sessions in the back of the room, I
Right?
know,
Right? Way back when.
way back when. I I
Wow,
I
yeah.
I told somebody the other day, I'm like, because Dane's private sessions, like, if you wanna, like, a one-on-one private sessions, I can't remember if it's, like, 2,500 or 5,000 or something like that, or 3,000,
Yeah.
it's up
Yeah.
there. And I remember my very first private session was, like, $375, and I'm like, "I can't afford that, but maybe I'll change, so I'll do it."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Wow, who knew how much of a deal that was then?"
Yeah, right? I actually did a full day with Dane way back then, and it was
Oh, wow.
2,500 for the whole entire day, and
Yeah.
that was
I remember when they were
spectacular.
offering those.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, that's, like, almost never now.
I
So
know,
how
right?
lucky.
Oops, sorry, hit the
But
mic.
I love that, though, about our bodies remembering. It's like
Yeah.
it's it's expanding, like, all of the energies that are,
Mhm.
readily available, like, just in an instant, all of these energies that are just right here to contribute and that we can access and play with and create with. It's so cool.
And for me too, and it's like, and that's honestly, and what you said about, so many people in that room dropping limitations and, you
Mm.
know, chinking away at the hard shell around the consciousness, and,
Oof,
and,
yeah.
and we joke, I quote, because it's not a joke. People Wherever we do access classes, people's lives changes, and I used to
Mhm.
watch people fill the
Yeah.
coffee cups, and it took an hour to set out 10 cups, right? Because they were listening,
Yeah, they were
and
totally lingering in the room.
right, and so for me, one of the things that's really special about this
Mm,
Corte Madera place is
mm,
there was a lot of, I call it heavy lifting, those, like,
yes.
brave, stupid souls like us who are in that room going, "Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, this isn't a cult, we'll do
I'll let
this.
it go.
Yeah, I'll let it go. I don't know what it's gonna look like, and it's really uncomfortable, but okay." And, but I know no time isn't real, you know? I've
Yeah,
worked in broadcast production, I can give you
mhm,
tons of examples of doing 1,000 things in 5 seconds,
right.
but, li I mean, literally, it's
Yeah,
amazing, and, so when we talk about people in these rooms dropping the limitations and changing, Corte Madera changed, I
yeah,
cannot wait. My body and I are so freaking excited to be back in that room, playing in
yeah,
the energy and really facilitating in that room, verbally,
yeah, right. Verbally, I like
verbally
that. Out
for the
loud.
first time,
Yeah.
right?
Oh my
Because
gosh.
I
Yeah.
think the last class Gary held there was an advanced body class because I was doing the audio
Mhm.
for it.
Yep, it
And
was.
doing the audio meaning I was responsible for the recordings and the mics
Yeah.
and, that stuff.
Yeah.
And, so my body and I cannot wait to be back in that room and
Yeah,
experiencing those energies and just the continuation of the change and the
right?
gift that this location has even been
Yeah.
to all of us.
Right, to so many bodies and so many lives. It's really cool. Well, and you know what? There's actually the same hotel manager that has it's the same Raul. It's the
Oh,
same guy
wow.
is there and just as lovely as ever. Oh my gosh. He is incredible and just he's so relaxed and so like and happy, you know.
Oh, I'm
And
so excited.
yeah, and he always, he remembers me all the time, and
Ab
anyone
yeah.
who's in Access who's been there so many times, he remembers everybody, and it's so cool. It's been so fun to talk to him again and to set this all up and just connect that way. It's so cool. It's like another old friend,
It
right?
it is, it is, it is, it is, it's
Yeah,
so yeah, I'm so I
yeah,
remember see, and here's the thing, it's like, does your body remember? And I remember dynamically getting off the bus 'cause it's a little bit from the
mm,
San Francisco airport, so you take the
yeah,
was it airporter, trainer, what's it called?
yeah, Marin Airporter.
Marin Airporter, there we go,
Yeah.
and in to this hotel and Best Western, kind of in this little pretty area with these trees. I remember I was so freaking nervous because it was my first class
Right,
was foundation with Dane, and it was
right,
in my hometown, and
yeah,
then here I am getting on a bus going who knows where to this
yeah,
location, and just I have so many lovely memories, and my body has so many memories. As a matter of fact, some of the stories I even share as examples in Right Body for You
mhm.
came from these first times in Corte Madera.
Wow,
Yeah, and
that's so
just
cool.
I remember walking up and meeting Gary outside,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then I remember it was in Corte Madera. Like, one of my favorite stories is, like, when people look at you with no judgment, it's weird and uncomfortable because
Yes.
we are so
To the
used to, um, going, "Oh, you judge me this way, this is how I'm supposed to be," right?
right, a
And then
reference
freaking
for how to be.
yeah, and then freaking Gary Douglas, man. I remember sitting there on the massage table on the phone with my mom during a break. Gary was, on the stage, and I remember feeling this tingling, and I looked over, and Gary was looking at me, like, really looking at me,
Yeah, like only
right?
Gary can do.
Like only Gary can do, and
Yeah.
even had his head tilted,
Yeah.
like, "Huh," and I would love to say I acted well and was elegant. But no
Oh
joke,
god.
this is what I did. There's a double doors in front of me.
Yeah.
I slowly, in my mind, got off the table and ran out of the room. Yeah. So
Yeah.
the very first time Gary Douglas actually really looked at me in this Corte room, I ran away. I'm like,
Yep.
"No, don't look at me,"
Don't look at me like that, or you see everything, and don't judge it. What the heck?
including possibilities that I'm not even willing to see. Damn
Oh,
you.
yeah. Oh my gosh. Right? Yeah, it's so, man, especially back then when there was, like, no talk about consciousness unless it included,
Well,
purple robes and
outside of access, there was
yeah,
no yeah, it's when
yeah.
consciousness was
Yeah, it was
taboo.
so out there for anything, so to really to have that experience though is like he was what I just am so grateful for, he was so uncompromising in his
Oh, yeah. It's a good
awareness,
word.
it's like he's like, "No, I'm aware. I see you.
Yeah.
No judgments. I have no judgments." And
And no expectations.
none, no agenda or expectations. Whoa. It's incredible. It's
Yeah.
incredible to really to have had that time with him when it took such a fierceness on his part of
Yeah.
like, I'm doing this, I'm creating this, I'm going for it. I don't know what it'll be like, what it'll turn out like, but I'm here and I'm going. And hello.
And hello, right?
Who'd like to play? So I wonder that's I'm actually as I'm talking about this, I'm getting the sense of our body really being that way as well.
Oh,
Like
yeah. Oh,
our
yeah.
body has been there with us through all of these moments and having these experiences, quote unquote, available again still. It's like as you're saying, as we are talking about this, just like it's right here.
Yeah.
Is that space and those energies. It's so cool.
Yeah, and it's those first few classes that really helped me embrace my body as the companion that it is. My creation partner, the no pun intended, but the thing that has my back, you
Yeah.
know, and the thing that's giving me information. My life dynamically changing started in that room.
Hmm.
It really did, because it's like foundation is a blur.
Right.
I mean, I listened to the
Yeah.
CDs. Yes, folks, CDs.
Yes.
I listened to the CDs over and over and over and over again before getting to that 2-3, which is COP.
Yeah.
And but yeah, because I remember walking in that room the first day, and because it was California, a lot of people already knew each other.
Yeah.
I didn't know anyone except that one guy. And then he introduces me to you. I'm like, "Hey."
Yeah.
But I remember sitting in that room going, "What am I doing here?"
Yeah.
Ah!
Yeah. But you stayed though, it's like you stayed.
Yeah,
Is like as much as and that's what I really adore about you is that no matter what comes up and how uncomfortable, you are here. You will be
thank
present
you.
with it. And that in itself, it's like I can see how you've developed that muscle over the years, all the years, talking about running away, but you didn't really run away.
No,
You kind of momentarily kind of ran away,
my
maybe.
body wouldn't let me. My
Yeah,
body wouldn't
yeah,
let, and really,
me
really,
too.
my body was
Yeah,
really the invitation to all of this, because I would
wow,
find myself saying, like the guy who was on my mom's radio show with Dane that one time,
yeah,
and he's like, um, "Oh, we're doing this bars class," and I had spent my life staying off of my mother's guests for the radio
r
show, their databases, right?
right.
And then it was I find myself saying like, "Oh, well, I can't go to this one. Can I go to the next one?" And I'm like, "Who
What?
said that?
What's
What are
coming
you
out of my
doing?"
mouth?
Right?
Smart
And
body.
smart body. And so, yeah, just those moments of paying attention, being aware, and I knew my body was listening even until I and had the information until I was actually willing to hear it, which was pretty
Wow.
amazing.
That's
that my
really
body
amazing.
was going, "Okay, I hear that. Are
Yeah.
you ready yet? No?
Yeah.
Okay." Couple months later, "Are you ready to hear that yet? Okay," "Hey, look over here. See what this person's doing? We put this Gary Dane or whatever talked about this,
Yeah.
like, 10 years ago. Are you listening yet? Okay. Oh, good, you're listening. Look over here." Because your
Wow.
body is that source of
Yeah.
information, and
Wow.
and the guide, and just like I said, it's the companion and the creation partner. And for me, it started in that room specifically. It's amazing.
Yeah, so fun. So you're all invited. You're
Yes,
all
because I might be doing, like, a giggly, jumpy dance when I walk in that room to facilitate.
I know I will be just going to visit it and be there. I was like, "Ah, yes." So yummy. So, so yummy. It's like
Yeah,
the walls are infused.
truly,
They really
truly.
are. The molecules are like, "Yeah, we're conscious."
It is. I can even perceive the venue excited to have us
Yeah,
back.
yeah, totally. It is. So
Um,
cool.
it does sound so yummy, Viv. And we should probably say we're talking about Right Body for You class that I'm doing in Corte
Yes,
Madera, October 22nd, 23rd, 24th.
yes.
You can bring your physical body, and you can also do it online. And I know Viv has a special offer that just blew me away last night when she
Yes.
offered this, that
Mhm.
for the next 5 people who show up, who physically pay and come, she's doing a I don't know how long SOP session, I think like a
20
10-minute
minutes,
session? 20-minute? Wow.
if I'm not mistaken.
She'll correct us here in a minute, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Or she's sitting there going, "I don't know, I don't care, I just wanna
Yeah.
contribute," because she's amazing that way.
She is. Oh my gosh. Yes, Vivian,
Which just
I'm
blew me away when she did that, so, yeah, so
incredible. So
for those for
generous.
the live people, right?
Yes.
20 minutes, wow, she's amazing, she's amazing. Um, do I count?
Do I count too?
And then 5 more after us.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so we're gonna do a post about that, but Vivian's graciously, kindly,
Yes.
amazingly, is gonna contribute the SOP sessions to the next 5 people who show up, and I'm just like, "That" or live. That just blows my
Yeah.
mind. But
Yes.
if you can't come live, don't let that stop you because, um, we do the live stream on Zoom.
Yes.
And,
And
I will say I am good at creating a symbiotic or a unification between those online and in the room. The number of times people have forgotten that the people online weren't in the room with them was pretty good. It was a lot. So
yeah.
it's fun. So please come play online as well.
Well, and it's exciting because we already have participants from, the far reaches of the earth,
It
from
is. It is.
Egypt, and, I can't think of where else right now, but there's, yeah, some from far away, so it's just so fun to be able to connect with people all over the world and, you know, contribute to each other this way, and it really is, you are there online and part of it, so
Yeah.
it's really just spectacular with
And so,
Donnielle's ability with that.
oh, thank you. And so, does your body remember? Yeah,
Loud and clear.
loud and
I
clear.
know.
Yeah, those taste, textures,
Yeah,
flavors isn't just about
yeah.
you. It's literally about your body experiencing that as well. And I would even say, does your body look forward to things? Yeah. And we actually go into that a lot. We do in the Right Body for You, we talk about food and money and earth and a number of things, and how much of a hedonistic creature your body actually is. And that,
Yes.
hey, maybe even if your body does want that brownie, it's okay. It's not just you, it may be also your body too. So, but how to be aware of the difference of that and be present, and it's a lot of fun. I love this class, so obviously,
I know.
doing it
Can I
13 years.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, can I actually ask you a few questions about that? Or if you have a
Please.
little more time?
Oh, I'm
Yeah, cool.
absolutely.
Well, yeah, so I was wondering, like, I mean, you talked about your body really leading you to keep choosing more with all of this,
Mhm.
but I'm curious about when you really, had that big yes for facilitating this class in particular. And yeah, I'd love to hear about that.
It's
And
actually kinda
recalling.
surprising when
Yeah,
it is. Um, because I started facilitating, it was interesting. Um, because when I first heard "Right Body for You," like, my whole body tingled, just the words "Right Body for You," and I'm like, "That's an
yeah.
interesting reaction."
Yeah.
You know, body aware, future much.
Yeah,
And then, I was at my very first certified facilitator class 4 months after I'd heard of Access, and that's when, they were starting to do the Right Body for Yous and stuff, and, the other right classes, right voice, right recovery,
yeah,
right all of the rights, right?
yeah.
Right?
Right.
And, but Right Body for You had already been around for a couple years at that point.
Mhm.
It's one of the
Yeah,
oldest, specialty classes in Access, and
yeah.
so, honestly, it's interesting how I remember having it's kind of a dual thing because I remember having this, um, overwhelming requirement to go up to Gary during another certified facilitator class and be like, "Well, and say" speak English, Tanya, and saying, "If you require or desire anything of me, you let me know. I'm here for it," you know?
Yeah.
And he goes, "Yeah, I require you to go do Right Body for You." I went, "Okay."
Yeah.
And then I started creating the classes and the workshops, and I'm like, "Well, what do you want it to
Yeah.
look like?" He's like, "I don't know, go figure it out." And he's like, "And I want you to be
Mhm.
part of the book and everything." And I'm like, "Okay, but what do you want it to look like?" He goes, "Go figure it out," you know? And it
Yeah.
and it was a good 5 years before, Right Body for You let me make a manual. And the manual now is
Right,
fun. It's amazing manual.
right.
So anyway, so the second part of that though is happened probably people are gonna laugh when they hear this, a good 6 years or so after that conversation with Gary,
Oh, wow. Mhm.
and I'd been facilitating it and all this kinda stuff, but I didn't realize that I still had somewhere I was trying to function from the point of view that I fell into the thing with bodies because of my mother or because Gary told me.
Right.
And so I was just like I remember it was during a 7-day, I just
Mm.
sat there and went, "Holy crap, no, I chose this. Where was I trying to put this onto other people?" And I
Wow.
became an even more dynamic facilitator after that when I acknowledged I chose it instead of thinking that other people chose it for me.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Wow.
and Gary was so funny, he's like, "Glad you finally figured that one out." I'm like, "Well, I changed that." And he's like, "How long ago?" I'm like, "A month." He goes, "Okay."
Yeah.
I'm like, "A month ago, Gary."
Like
He's like, "Okay."
like, give me a break. You get
But
it when
yeah,
you get it, you choose it when you
yes.
choose it.
But what was interesting is I was still having fun and creating, but somewhere I still reserved that humanoid
Yeah,
part of me where I was like, "I just did it 'cause" no, I
yeah,
freaking chose this dynamically. So it was a twofold thing. That first
yeah,
I couldn't not go up to Gary and go, "What can I
yeah,
do? Let me
yeah,
contribute. What? What?"
yeah,
And he's like,
yeah.
"Right body for you. You're gonna be I want you in the book and do this. Go do it." I'm like, "Okay."
As
And
Gary does.
as Gary does.
What do you know?
Exactly.
Ah, darn it, I gotta
"Damn it,
know what
Gary."
I know.
And, like, I'm sure because we talked about all the departments you and I have started between the 2 of
Oh,
us. And he what instruction does he
yeah.
give? I'm guessing your instruction kinda like mine, "Go figure it out."
None.
Yeah,
Well,
that's what
so my first job, actually, my very first job was to redo the certified facilitators manual.
oh, yes.
It was my first
Continue
year.
speaking as I'm looking at
Yeah.
this. Go ahead.
So it was
Listen.
my first year of access. Like I resisted it for a couple of years, but then when I finally said yes, I really like jumped in and took the classes. And then I was like nonstop. I was in class, once or twice a month, every single month. And by the end of the year, I'd had all the prereqs. There it is. Oh my God, you have it. That's amazing.
2008 Facilitators Manual,
Yes. And then
compiled by
edited and compiled by Heather P. Smith. That's me. So it was he was talking about the person who had been doing it before had I forget if she'd quit or been fired, but basically
Went
she
away.
was like, yeah, she went away and he was like describing what his issues were with it. He's like, she's been interpreting stuff,
Mm,
not literally saying what I say. And so it was like at the middle of certified facilitator training, and it was lunch break, I think, or we just took a break, and he said, he'd said that what was going on, and I walked up to him and I said, I could do that. I'd be willing to do that. I could create the new manual and have it say what you say and not interpret it like that. I'm down with that. I like what you had to say. It's freaking amazing. So I was really I mean that totally just matched what um I was into honoring that. I was willing and interested in honoring what he was saying because I mean, it was so different and so life changing for me personally, everything he said. So I'm like, oh yeah, I like every word of everything. you know? But it was, yeah, there was no other instruction.
yeah, no.
That was it. That was it. And I think I basically transcribed his classes, like all the advanced classes, to create the facilitator's manual. And then I, get to meet with him and Dane. And if I had questions about stuff, I get to go over it with them and make sure that I was, had it correct. Or if I wasn't clear about something, or I wanted like more in-depth explanation about something that didn't, that got glossed over or whatever. And started creating like an encyclopedia of access.
True story. True story.
It was
You
an
guys should see this.
800-page manual. That's
I
only, I
didn't
think there's 2 books. There's 2 of those, I think, for the manual,
uh,
maybe.
yeah,
I
I
but
remember. Yeah, let's see. 2008, 2009 facilitator manual. And it was so funny because I remember getting it printed. I still have my little Office Max
Yeah.
thing here that
Yeah.
expired in 2008. Um, wonder if they'd honor it. Just kidding.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I remember getting this printed because I was just so excited, not knowing how large it was.
Oops.
And then when they were like, okay, that's like
Yeah.
$135, I was like,
Yeah. What?
what the
I know. My apologies to everybody. I'm like, sorry, not sorry, sorry.
sorry. Hashtag sorry, not sorry. But and I love that story. And one thing I'd like to point out
Yes.
is, you and I, our quote unquote stories have a
Yeah.
very similar beginning.
Yeah.
That undeniable walking up to Gary in our knowing, going, all right,
I'm
let's
in.
do
I'm
this. I
here.
can do
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
And and I would love to invite people to these classes with that same knowing. It's like if this live interested you, it's because there's something here and in these classes, or with me and Heather, that is for you. It's that
Yeah.
first spark, that undeniable, unstoppable
Mhm.
demand of walking up, even as scary as it could be, because walking up to Gary,
Yeah.
going, I'm in. What do you require? Let's do this. I can do that. It took some female balls, man.
Yes, it did. It really did. It's true. And that was the beginning of it too. It's like
Yeah,
that was the beginning of a deep dive of that kind of courage,
yeah,
which is really cool. And I love that you said that though, that spark of knowing. So
yeah,
it's like, all of you watching this, what's that spark of knowing when you just know, you have to go, you have to choose it, you have to change it. Your body knows and and is now the time
and
to honor that,
and it
again.
doesn't make sense, you guys, it
No,
never makes
it doesn't
sense.
make sense at all. You're like, what the heck? And yet,
And yet, and I
Yeah.
still remember Gary's first description because we were in certified facilitator class. We were going to be like, well, how do we promote this, Gary? What do we say? Give us a description. And
Mhm.
he's like, it's weird, it's wacky, and it works.
Yeah. So true. Truer words are
Nowhere
never
in there
said.
yeah, nowhere in there does it make sense. Is it linear? Is it
Nope.
logical or comfortable?
No. And yet it works. It
Yet
works
it works.
amazing. It's just it still blows my mind. It's still miraculous. Like, the miracles of it don't stop. And
No.
that's what keeps me, coming back for more classes and more use of the tools in my everyday life is like, it just keeps getting more grand and more glorious and more ease-filled and more
Yeah.
enjoyable and so many things that used to be a problem or a difficulty just aren't anymore. It's
No,
so
no,
cool.
no, and nor and here for me,
Yeah.
one of the most exciting things about the Access tools and Everybody for You specifically is I don't have to create from problems anymore.
Ah, right?
Yeah,
That's,
because
like a miracle in itself.
it is, and no, for those who people are going, "What?" Let me
Yeah,
explain a little bit. What I
yeah,
mean is it's like this reality we've been taught to only change things that are broken or wrong or a problem.
yeah,
And so, our natural state is changing. Plain and simple, our natural state is changing. You change every day. Your body changes every day. Everything
yeah.
changes every day. Try to tell a plant not to grow, right? It's like, no, I'm different than yesterday. Piss off, right?
Yeah.
Um, so, and we are that natural state of change as well.
Yeah.
And, but we were taught that you can only change what's a problem. And so for me, one of the biggest gifts with all of this work, this conscious work and everything, access consciousness, right body for you, is you don't have to have a problem to choose something, even if it's different. It's like, why would you change that? It was working because I was bored, or it's time to move on, or the energy's over here now, or whatever it is.
Yes,
We
yes.
don't have to create the problems to create change anymore. For me, that's been one of the biggest gifts.
Absolutely. That is, yeah, so profound, such a profoundly different way to function. And like, how lucky are we to know that? Have that
Right, and
available.
especially oh
Oh,
my gosh, especially with bodies, you guys. Oh my
yes.
gosh, especially
Game
with
changer.
bodies.
Game
It
changer.
is, because so many people think they have to create a problem to come to right body for you. Uh-uh. It's just
No.
like, if you wanna play even more with your body or have greater communication,
Yeah.
or you don't even know what that is, come and play.
Well, I'd like to talk about that a little bit more. So, gosh, yeah, the thing of like not having a problem with your body. So, one of the pieces of that for me is like, okay, but I'm like way more than I would like to be weighing right now. Or like, or, working with people who have some kind of health issue or whatever, and
Yeah,
it's a problem that they have the health issue. It's like even just the notion of approaching it not from the problem that it is, but
yeah.
from the asking, body, what's going on? What are you telling me? What are you trying to show me? Like, what is
Yeah.
this really? And, we don't need to like go down the road with that because that's the class. That's the possibility.
It is the class,
But
but I will share one thing
y-
about that,
yeah,
is that, um here it is. It's like it's not that we're dismissing something's going on, okay?
right.
We're not one of the right body for you is not about like, "Oh, just ignore it, maybe it'll go away." You're bleeding profusely, but maybe ignore it, it'll go away. It's not what we're no. It is dealing and being present with it, but it's looking at everything from a different perspective,
Yeah.
because and it's all about the energy. So if we look at the energy of problem, it's a very solid energy and it defines it. And how much when we define a body issue as a problem, it solidifies it and makes it unchangeable. Just
That,
naming it like that and defining it makes it
that
unchangeable or hard as hell to change,
right.
right?
Long and
And
arduous.
long and arduous, right? And then
Mhm.
so right body view is not about going, "Oh, you don't have any problems." It's about not defining it as problem and solidifying it, so what change can be created is actually created, actually becomes possible. And when you don't define it as a problem, you receive from your body the information of what it would take to change it. So that's what it is right body for you is about helping you see it from a different perspective. so you can actually create the change that you're asking for, and I love
Oh,
it.
so beautiful. Yeah, so simple and beautiful. And it's like, everyone who comes to the class creates the class and what becomes
Yes.
possible and where we can go with that in the conversations and with our bodies. So it's like, no matter what you have going on, it actually is a gift and a huge contribution to what can be changed and looked at and acknowledged and opened up. And uh, it, it's just a miraculous gift of everybody's interaction with each other and what we all bring that makes it greater,
Yeah, I
even if
love
it
it.
looks messed up when we come in the door.
Yeah, right, and what's interesting is sometimes you look identical walking out the door, but your entire world has changed, and then
Yeah,
from there, because it's like the moment of
yeah,
no judgment is when all change begins, and Christine put, "Playing with my body? Yes, please. Yes, please," in all
Ooh,
those fun
naughty.
ways. Oh, yeah, she's naughty, you got the energy of that one.
I did. Yeah,
Well, and it's
so
like
cool. So
and the other thing, and I know we need to go, we've been on long,
yeah.
and I love it. Heather
Yes,
and I
me
can just
too.
chat and
Y
giggle.
y
If you guys have I mean, hopefully you've heard Heather giggle during this because it's awesome. So come and giggle with us, and it's like it
Yes.
was really cool. I put I did this silly video the the other day for
Ah, I
the
love it. Yes.
another 3D body class I'm doing in Utah a couple weeks, and, I think I figured out a new slogan from that, though.
Yeah.
From the thing of the it's like, um, uh, is it taking the seriousness out of bodies, making room for change?
Ooh,
Yeah,
nice.
because
Ooh,
it's like my classes are usually filled with humor and fun and
yes.
sarcasm, and so much change gets created from that because we're
Yes.
no longer solidifying it. Because if you guys ever
Yeah.
notice that when you get serious, the energy goes,
Ah,
bodies don't
don't
actually
do
like
it.
that. And so when we laugh and giggle, it expands and then change actually becomes possible. So, yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm still playing with it, but it's like getting rid of the seriousness of bodies, making room for change, something to that effect. I think that'll be fun.
I love it, and I contributed to that.
You did.
My post.
Yeah.
I love it. That's so
Um,
cool.
and Vivian's reminding us the first 5 people that register for the class and attend live, um, and attend
Yes.
gets a free 20-minute SOP session with her. Do it. Do it just for that.
She's
That's awesome.
incredible, yes. Oh my gosh. Well, this is so awesome. It's been so fun to talk with you and recall all these magical
Yeah.
moments and energies that we've, gotten to share and experience and go on the adventure of. My goodness.
I know, and so and what's fun is this, like so let me ask you just really quickly, because
Yeah.
does your body remember? So as we've been remembering all this stuff and recalling it,
Yeah.
was your body with you on the journey? Like, how was it for your body as we were bringing up all
Yeah.
these energies?
It's like my body feels like it has more energy available, more relaxed into it though. It's like it's just, it's like so one of my favorite things in living and having a body is like being having the wind blow on my body.
Mm,
Standing on a rock face, standing out at the ocean with the air moving, like that sense of just the breeze blowing on my body and through my body. And recalling all of this is like lighting up that kind of flow of energy that's so invigorating, that all these juicy, yummy energies that are flowing and moving through my body. And so thank you. Yeah, that's what that brought.
yeah,
This
and
conversation.
thank you for that, and yeah, me too, just that whole I just 13 years
Yeah.
disappeared in a second.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I know my body helps me recall all that because my body's recalling it as well, that walking in the room, that sitting in the uncomfortable chairs, hopefully they've changed, but just as the foundation of my reality was tilting and going away, how my body was there to catch me and be with me and be my one of my guides on this journey, so it's been
So
so
true.
much fun, and I get to
Yes.
be there so
Yeah,
soon. Oh my
I
gosh, in the
know.
room.
Hugs.
I know, I
Get
can't
to
wait.
hug.
I can't wait, I can't wait. Oh, and Vivian says she even oh, thank you. You even took my body on the ride. So it's like our
Oh,
bodies
cool.
shared. So I just think
Yes,
that's amazing as well.
that
Um,
it's so incredible, yes, and that it was one of the great gifts of being in that room all those years with Gary and Dane and you and everybody else who showed up, is that we did all of our bodies contributed to each other
yeah,
too, like, you would let go of something and it would make it easier for me to let go of it, and I would let go of something and it would make it easier for you to let go of it, and
it's the gift of
it's
being you
yes, it is. And what's right about our bodies, that
so much.
we sometimes
Um,
don't get.
yes. All right. So let's wander off. I know we've been
Yeah.
on like 3 times as long as we had planned. Actually, we didn't have a plan.
No.
Take
We
all
just
that
wanna
back.
show up and play.
And we did. So if you
Yes.
want to show up and play with Heather and I,
Mhm.
but really, if
If
you
you
want
wanna
to,
come
like we
mm.
invite you, and like I said, if this is spark of interest, there's something there for you. So
Yes,
please explore that, whether it's now or later. But please let your
yes.
body be the invitation to you that it is asking to be. So, all right. And right, buddy, for you, October 22nd, 23rd, 24th in Corte Madera, Best Western Corte Madera,
Yes.
in California. Come and play live or online. Thank you, Heather.
Mm.
Thank you for
Thank you,
everybody watching
Danielle.
now and in the
Yes.
future. And I can't wait to see you. And Vivian, you guys are
Yes.
amazing.
Thank you
All
all
right.
so much. Look forward to seeing you. Bye.